Go.
Hello, this is hmptv speaking. I just want to say, give us back our culture. Thank you. We're going to be marching with them in a second, and yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Thank you. The next speakers, I've got Cecil Goodsmore. Gutzmore. Elder Cecil Goodsmore from Pan-African Perspective.
Right, my brothers and sisters, I have a few problems with this motion, because it says something about reparatory justice. And the people that we're dealing with have no sense of justice, no sense of righteousness, nothing of that kind. So it leaves us in a bit of a problem. Now, we're talking about the Mangamese. And another name for the Mangamese is hundreds of years of white supremacist oppression. So what we have to do is win our liberation from the system of white supremacist oppression. That's what we have to do. Now, how do we do that? That the oppressor, who is actually intensifying the oppression, compensates us even before the oppression ends. So we have to be looking at what we do, and we have to be looking at what it's really about. And what it's really about is empowering ourselves to take reparation. That is what it's about. There are some people in the world. There are some people. There are some people in the world. Let's call them the Chinese, for example. We don't have to agree with what they're doing. But why are they powerful? They're powerful because they had a revolution through which they liberated themselves from white supremacy. That's why they're powerful. And that is what we have to do. My comrades said they would kill all the collaborators as well. So that is what we have to do. We have to empower ourselves to take reparations. I hear a lot of talk about self-repair. I don't have no problem with self-repair, brothers and sisters. The best forum in which to repair yourself is in the process of liberating and unifying ourselves. And when we organize to liberate and unify ourselves, we will have empowered ourselves to take reparations. Thank
you, Cecil, Elder Cecil. Amma X, are you here? Then I'll move on. We've only got 3 more speakers, really. So Toyah RBG, representing the Stop the Mangamese campaign. Welcome her.
Okay, greetings all. How can we move on when the British state and other European institutions are still committing crimes of the Mangamese as we speak? The Mangamese means the continuum of the African Holocaust from chattel, colonial and neo-colonial enslavement, such as debt bondage, misrepresentation in the media, miseducation in our schools, resource exploitation, using our homelands as a medical experimental ground. So what are the consequences if we do not get reparatory justice for the youth and for our future generations? that means they'll have no foundation. They'll be remaining in a cycle where each generation comes, we have to start again. And we will live in this acceptance within oppression and staying complicit within our own enslavement. So we have to stop the harm before we can repair the damage. So internal repair, of course, is a must. It's very, very important. But how can we have guarantees of non-repetition if the external repair isn't solved, if you don't try and get external repair? It will limit us. So we can have all our economics, we can have our shops, we can raise and empower each other up. But if we continue to live in a system where the external repair is still oppressing us, it means we're limited. So internal and external repair goes hand in hand. So I'd like to just use a quote from a young sister called Antoinetta Carla Santana. She was a part of the All African Students Union in Europe back in 1993 from the African Reparations Movement, courtesy of Bernie Grant. And she said reparatory justice will assist us to have a deeper understanding of our own current situation. And she also said that reparatory justice, one of the aims, of the All African Students Union, was that reparatory justice can develop a universal curriculum of African truth, which will decolonize education, which is where it all starts. Okay, so we have a rich history, and we have to create a rich future for our children, so they don't remain stagnant as we have. And we have to take responsibility, each and every one of us, to contribute, because it's easy to point the finger and wait for something to happen, but it's up to you. Take responsibility. I like to use this African body analogy that I heard from my brother. And we are able-bodied. Imagine if your arm isn't functioning properly, or a leg isn't functioning properly. It means you're unable, it means you're disabled. But if you're all working together, if all your body parts are working in unison, we can run to liberation. Okay? We come from a mighty race who never gave up the fight for the quest for justice. So who are we to sit on our laurels? Don't let our ancestors die in vain.
Thank you, Toyah. Thank you, Toyah. Sister Amma, are you here? Okay, moving on. The last speaker who will be speaking against the motion will be... Yeah. We will hear from Leo Muhammed, who will be speaking for black people who are opposed to reparation.
No violence, no violence. No, Leo, no. Greetings, brothers and sisters. I bring you greetings from the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And they've given me this really terrible task to represent to you some of the things that some of those who are our open enemies have said in rejection of the idea and the principle of reparations. I hope you were listening carefully when Theresa May was up here, because you have to listen to language, and you have to be able to break down the language. When they talk about slavery being abhorrent to them, you got to understand that she means the complete opposite. These are people who are in love with slavery. When they talk about modern day slavery, they're now bringing in modern day slavery. Why? To diffuse the reality of historical slavery. There is no comparison between modern day slavery and what happened to black people during our Mangamese and the Holocaust of black people. But are we listening to the language? Are we able to decipher that they're trying to muddy the waters? Historically, some civil rights leaders went into the White House and sat with a president of the United States. And the president of the United States told them that he could understand the argument of black people for reparatory justice and for justice in general. But he said, How can I give that to you, or why should we give that to you if you won't make us give it to you? So again, you got to understand that there must be a demand from us. There must be a threat from us. There must be something from us that demands reparatory justice. Now, one of our black so-called leaders, his name is Paul Boateng. Have you ever heard of Paul Boateng? A brother who used to wear an afro in the 70s and run around saying that he's for black people. But then he became the first cabinet minister, the first black cabinet minister. The media went to him and said, how does it feel, Paul Boateng, to be the first black cabinet minister? He said, don't talk to me about being black. I'm an MP before I'm black. This is how quick we sell out. When Paul Boateng was asked about reparations, Paul Boateng's answer was that reparation is a non-starter. Non-starter. It's imperative that you and I develop now language and skill to counter the arguments of the enemy, because they've developed some tremendously skillful, dirty argument against reparation. They will tell you, how far do we have to go back? Who else do we have to pay? And they will try to bring everybody into the equation, and we often as Africans, we fall for it. They'll bring all kinds of arguments. They'll bring homosexuality into it. They'll bring all of these equalities into it. But we must learn how to speak directly on reparations and the Black Holocaust, the Mangamese, and do not deviate from it one iota, because they've developed highly sophisticated arguments to deviate us from the straightforward, unanswerable question of reparations. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all our speakers who are for and against the argument, the motion. Can I just call for Esther? Esther, can you make your way to the back of this stage? Well, I'm calling it a stage. So I've been asked by a show of hands, those who are for the motion. The motion. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't come and sit down in your home and feel good after you leave here today, because the work starts after today. It does stop. So make sure that you sign the petition. It is one form of what we're doing. And let me just be very clear, my brother. Let me be very clear. The march is not the movement. The march is an aspect of the movement. And the people them that facilitate the march, we're facilitating your march. See? Your march we're facilitating. We're not here to big up ourselves and tell you what we are do from what we not do. All we are asking to, when we put the call out, just come and support us, and we will do the work. We are not afraid of hard work. We will do the work. No. There are official speakers that speak on behalf of the African Emancipation Day Reparation March Committee. I am one. Sister Jendai here is one. Sister Jendai is one. And we have our media man. Turn up here, come. You're too short for people to see you down there. Come here. Come up here, thumper tail.
Give me a hand, man.
Give me a hand. This is the official media person for the reparations movement in terms of the African Emancipation Day Reparation Man. This is Brother Delani. Hear him? And I'm going to put you over now to our queen, who is our spokesperson, the official spokesperson. That means she do all the telly thing that you see when me go up and tell him, me just change my accent, just change up, people can't understand what me I say. So she can do the look of speaky spokey. Yeah? So we are gonna put you over to our queen, Esther Stanford, Xosei. Yellow!
Greetings, family. How are we doing? Okay, I've been told to speak into the mic. Thank you. And you look lovely too. And don't we all look lovely? So, we did it again. Yeah, we did it again. And we thank you for believing in us and believing in yourself and for staying the course. Because it's easy to drop out.
That's right, especially on a Monday.
Especially on a Monday.
On a working day.
A working day.
And on a bank holiday.
And massa. Because remember, the Mangamizi is still going on.
That's right, that's right.
And many of us, not here, but in our community, are saying, why do you march? Marching's a waste of time. But today has not been a waste of time, has it? And the shower of blessings that we are getting now means that our ancestors are pleased. Because we are here to represent them. We are not just fighting for ourselves, but we are here to get justice for them. And we are here to secure justice for our yet to be born. So we have just come from handing in the petition. And we did get to hand in the petition. And this year, being the third year of the march, but the first year, we've actually gone to the door of number 10 and handed in the petition. And guess what? Guess who opened the door? No, a brother. They sent one of us to come and open the door. And he told us, I shall ensure Theresa May gets this on your behalf. They sent the help to come and collect the petition. But brothers and sisters, no jokes aside, it has been a hard journey. And remember that we are only here because of the sacrifices that those who've come before us made. That's right, that's right. Including our own parents, our grandparents. That's right. We are here for them too.
Big them up, big them up.
We handed in not the petition, but we also handed in copies of those petitions that had been collected in between 2014 in terms of the Stop the Mangamizi petition and now. And I'm going to give you the figure that we have that has been counted in terms of how many people have committed to this process so far and have decided to sign their name to the Stop the Mangamizi, We Charge Genocide, Ecocide petition. Because we know a lot of us march, but a lot of us don't sign that petition. And so this letter, because many of our people are afraid to sign it, will say reparations now Esther Stanford Xosei, the Honorary Kwame Abubakar, where is he? If we can see him. Father, Prophet Kwame. Prophet Kwame took receipt of the box, so he had it. He handed it in. We had Mama Lindiwe Sele, Mama Lindiwe, representing our South African struggle, the struggle of our peoples of Azania, that struggle against apartheid. We had Dr. Beryl Alexandrina Beekman. Dr. Beryl Beekman is representing the European NGO Consultative Council on African Reparations. Did you know they existed? Ngoka, and I'm also a co-founder of Ngoka with Dr. Beryl Beekman and others, is our counterpart in Europe. Because despite their Brexit, we are united. Our people are united across Europe. And it is important for us to not allow ourselves to be segregated by the borders of European imperialism. So we are also here representing our brothers and sisters who have been colonized by other European nations. We also had two young ones because our struggle is intergenerational. There's often been said, well, what about the young people? As though young people just lead themselves. In our tradition, we have an intergenerational struggle. And we pass on the baton. And each generation takes that struggle forward. But we do it together, in unity. So we had our daughter, Nahanda Kehinde Efua Ngozi, the daughter of Sister Jendai Sawa, and we had our son, Heru Neme Mama, the son of Ras Ashiba. Hail them! Don't get tired now. Come on, we've been marching, we've been doing things, we've been fighting this struggle for hundreds of years. Don't get tired now, because victory is on the horizons. Remember, we have that flag to remind us of how we do it, how we get victory. So it's not about you. Some people say, I'm not marching, I'm not following no order. That is what we must rid ourselves of. Because no people who do not show self-discipline can be victorious in a battle as long as we have fought. So the number of signatories that were handed in, and we have not handed in original copies. We kept the original copies because we will maintain our count ourselves, and until we get the requisite amount, we will then hand in all of the originals, but we photocopied each sheet. I think 370 or 86 pages or something like that. But the amount of signatures was 5,811. And But hold on. There's talk, and it's true, 100,000 is a target. But for us, it's not about what they say is a target. Because each of those 5,811 people have made a stand. Have made a stand. And they are an example to our family around the world. So don't look at the numbers, because each one of us represents all of our minorities. We represent the people, and we have the groundswell and the beginnings of a mass movement in this time. But we have to maintain the lead. But in order to do that, we have to be astute. That is why the theme that we have chosen for the march is education is preparation for reparation. Prepare your families, prepare your children for our case. We have to be debating it, not just with people who side with us, but we have to be able to outdo all the arguments. And we all have to be our own advocates. That is what we are promoting. So it's not about a few of us up here. It is about the many of us. And this is a process that is not being done anywhere else in the world on African reparations. So we are pace setters. And some of us will continue to be pace setters because we know we are doing the right thing. And we're not begging no favor from nobody. We're not begging no friends, whether it's from CARICOM governments or African governments. As long as our people are in bondage, we must represent ourselves and also hold our governments to account too. Because many of them are complicit in the Mangamizi. All the lands that are being stolen from our people is being done with the connivance of governments, depriving our people of their life and their liberty. That's why we say, stop the Mangamizi. And we must remember, not only is this not the whole movement, we in the UK are not the whole movement. We in London are not the whole movement. The movement is all of our brothers and sisters on the four corners of planet Earth who need to be a part of this. So, I'm going to close my comments here because I think I've said enough. But I'd really like to commend all of you who have been signing petitions, who have been getting petitions signed. I would like to specially commend the outreach team. You know who you are, but raise your hands. Raise your hands. Because without them, we would not have all these signatures. They have been going out every week on streets and events diligently speaking to our people. We have a London team and we have a Bristol team. And we want you to leave here today committing to starting outreach teams across this country, across Europe, across the Americas, across Africa, across the world. Because it's only then, when we get the groundswell of our people, that we will be able to effect and secure reparatory justice by our own people's power. Thank you.
We not get weak, man. We not get weak, man. I can't believe it. Come on, let's rise her up, rise her up. Rise her up, rise her up. Rise her up. Rise her up. We have Elder Linda, who wasn't here when she was called to speak. And as an elder, we have to give way to our elders. But before I give way to the elder, we're going to be shifting out here at 5 o'clock. Remember what Sister Esther said. Let's have discipline on the way back. We are the only people that march in and march out. Nobody else don't do it. We have generated history. So give yourself a big round of applause. So, Sister Linda way, Mama Linda way. Wanna say after me, Mama Linda way. Mama Linda way. Mama Linda way. We must revere our elders, who is a revolutionary fighter from Azania, South Africa, from the time of the apartheid revolution regime, and she's gonna give us a few words.
If we keep our power to ourselves, but what we do, we get elected and we give our power to the master generation. And I wish to say to you here, I can't say very much more than what all the other speakers have said already, but I just want to remind you that few as we are here, if we gave a $5, even a $5 a week to the movement, we would be able to move even further, because we have no newspaper that deals with our problems. We have other people's newspapers talking about our business. Our children are dying in prisons and nobody's doing anything about it. Our children are dying of depression and nobody's doing anything about it. But I want to say to you, we are not as hopeless as they would want us to believe. How many of us know about the revolution in Haiti? That revolution made the master race really stand up and look and fear us. They fear us. Don't you ever believe? They don't despise us. They fear us, because without ammunition, we still managed to do a Haiti. It had not been done before. They were just taking us and using us in their armies. But Haiti showed them that we've got a brain. We can think and we can organize. And I want to ask you all here to make your pledge to yourself that every week you will give a $5 to the movement. We do spend a $5 a week on nothing. We spend it on makeup. And you know who's getting rich on makeup? It is their firms that are getting rich on makeup. We are going to their pubs and getting drunk. We get ourselves drunk, they get rich. And I want to say that $5 a week would make us have a newspaper dealing with our affairs. I can't say more than that. Just remember that when we are organized, we can move mountains. Really, really move mountains. To be told that we are useless, we've never been useless. If we were useless, they would not spend so much time on educating us to be separate. They will tell you that a Jamaican is not a South African is not a West African is not an East African is not from Trinidad. But when they need your strength, when they need you to work for them, it doesn't matter where you come from. You are black and you are going to do the heavy job. So you must always keep it in mind that you must support a movement like this, not only with words, but with money. Money is needed. We are in a capitalist society. Money is needed. Telephones have to be paid for. Don't you ever forget that. I will stop there, because I think when you know that no movement is going to move without donations, you are dreaming. People have paid with their lives forever, forever. You look at any country in the world. A man came to speak to us sometime. He was from Papua New Guinea. And he told us that the man who discovered them called them New Guinea because he had already been in Guinea in West Africa. And he saw them, they look alike, and for looking alike, they come from Africa. So you are black, you've got this kinky hair, you've got a flat nose, you've got thick lips, you are from Africa. So I want to say to you, please, 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 make it a point to donate your $5, even if you can't afford $5 a week, but donate your $5 as and when you can. Thank you.
All right, we have Fly Jarrett, which is Cynthia Jarrett family, is going to give us a 1 minute something.
Now I have come here today to kill, cramp and paralyze all of them wicked man conception. Now it's a lucky thing I and I never get too swell-headed. So hold tight all of the Rasta man them and all of the Empress them, because as Zion we are God. Only the humble and the meek shall inherit the earth. It is every man's right to decide his own destiny. And it is easy for the camel to walk through the eye of a needle than a rich man to walk through the gates of Zion. So may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be accepted in Just sight from this day and forevermore. Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari is the defender of the faith. Rise up, you mighty race, you've been sleeping. And a people without history is like a tree without roots. Respect to the man like Marcus, Messiah, Garvey.
We're making our way back. Yeah! We're making our way back. We're making our way back. We're making...
This is when you kill her, your life is over. And the rest you're sitting in a cell for 15 years, 20 years, holding your head. Because we don't think before we act. Yeah? So that's the lesson in that one. There's always an alternative. Always an alternative. I was driving one day in my car in Harleston. I went to turn a corner and this black brother was walking on the pavement and the man ran like he wanted me to knock him over in my car. I think, what's this? So as I drove around, the man kicked my car. So I drove up the road, stopped the car, and looked in my rear view mirror, I see a black brother. And I was going to teach some children that morning. Now look, brother, I'm a trained martial artist, I'm a fighter. That's what I do, brother. I'm not afraid of nobody. But I looked in the mirror, I looked at my brother puffing up, and I said to myself, look, I could get out of the car, because I would only go to reason with him and say, brother, what's wrong with you? Why would you kick my car? But just looking at the brother, I knew that if I went to talk to him, he would act stupid and ignorant. And then, next thing, if he's going to rush me or do something, you know what I did, brother? I said, in my mind, I said, my car is more iron. It can take some kick. And I went about my business, brother. It's not cowardice. It's wisdom. Don't always fight where you don't have to fight. Only fight, brother, when you got your back against the wall and the devil forces you. Brother, you're entitled to kill any man, brother, who pushes you to that point. But we must choose our battlefields. Yeah? Respect, man. Respect, man. Respect.
Yeah, you can't just jump behind him, man. You fight him, man.
You got more money, man. So if you turn capitalism Capitalism. How can we break the chain? It's like a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. These are signs of the time. Signs of the time. Man and mind changing. I want you to know these are signs of the time. Signs of the time. Brothers, life experience teach I so. These are signs of the time. Signs of the time. Revelation. So last I know these are signs of the times. Yeah. But the spirit of the flow. Brothers against brothers and sisters against sisters. So if it's national uprising, don't you be surprised. Or if it's pestilence and famine, still it's time to realize. And when there's storms and floods, with earthquake and fire, we will be treading through this Armageddon with courage and faith in Jah. These are signs of the time. Signs of the time. That's all.